Hey guys, welcome back. We are doing lesson 7, unit 6 for phonics. So let's get busy. I'm going to share my screen with you. And let's get it in present mode. Get rid of that bar. All right, lesson 7. Our learning targets today, I can segment and blend 2-syllable words. I can replace a noun with a pronoun, and I can ask and answer questions about key details in the story, The Picnic by the River. So let's practice segmenting and blending 2-syllable words. So let's do the word classroom. Our blenders, k, l, a, s. How many sounds? 4. What about room? R, u, m. 3. So we have class, k, l, a, s, class, room, which has 3, r, u. Let's do cardboard. Card. 3. Board. Board. So we have 3 there. Cardboard. Let's do pancake. N 3. K is 3. Let's do backpack. K 3. K is 3. Hometown. Home. 3. Town. Town is 3. All right, so today we're going to learn about nouns and pronouns. I'm going to read you some sentences, and then we're going to discuss the sentences to help us understand more about pronouns. Kate went on a trip. She was sad at the start of the trip. Kate met Jack in the coin shop. He was an expert on coins. Kate had found a coin. It was made of silver. Now, who was sad at the start of the trip? Kate, right? So let's go back and look. Kate went on a trip. She was sad at the start of the trip. Now notice they've got she underlined there. Who is that she? It's Kate. So they replaced Kate's name with the pronoun she. So that way they didn't have to keep writing Kate, Kate, Kate. Okay, so we replaced the word Kate with the word she. Kate was the one that was sad. And sometimes we do replace a noun with another word. Kate went on a trip. She was sad at the start of the trip. So the pronoun we used was she. So we replaced Kate with the word she. So when we replace a noun with another word, this is called a pronoun. So let's see who the expert is in coins. Kate met Jack in the coin shop. He was an expert on coins. So who was the expert on coins? Jack. They replaced Jack with he. So we replaced the word Jack with the word he. Jack was the coin expert. Sometimes we replace a noun with another word. So we took Jack out, replaced it with he. Remember, when we replace a noun with another word, it's called a pronoun. Kate had found a coin. It was made of silver. What was made of silver? The coin, right? So we replaced the word coin with the word it. The coin was made of silver. Sometimes we replace a noun with another word. So we replaced coin with the word it. And when we do that, it's called a pronoun. So we've used 3 pronouns. We've used the word he, she, and it. Okay, So let's take turns creating sentences with these pronouns. I would love to see you take out your whiteboard and your marker, and I would love to see you write a sentence with the word he. What sentence could you come up with there? Could you say, he is my friend? Good. What was your sentence? I bet it was a great one. Let's try the word she. Use she in a sentence on your whiteboard. Now remember, when you're writing sentences, you got to have a capital at the front and a period or some type of punctuation at the end. So how did you use she in a sentence? I would probably say, she and I are going to the store. Okay, what would you say? Oh, I bet that's a great sentence to write. And let's use our last pronoun, it. Use it in a sentence on your whiteboard. I would probably say, let it sit on the table. And I could use it like let the flowers sit on the table. So I could replace it that way. So how would you use the word it in a sentence? That's great. I bet you created some wonderful sentences there. Okay, I'm going to say a sentence and you're going to add on to the sentence by replacing the noun with the pronoun. So for example, if I said Jeff had a party, what would you replace Jeff with? He, great. He had a party. He invited the class. What about Jill pet a cat? How could you do it in the next bubble? She likes cats. Okay. Dan went to school. Now, how would you write a sentence there? Why don't you write it on your whiteboard? What pronoun would you use? Oh, that was a good choice. I bet you used the word he, didn't you? And I bet you come up with a wonderful sentence to put in that speech bubble. Vicky went to dance class. What pronoun would you use there? Could you use it in a sentence there talking about Vicky? Write it on your whiteboard. So what did you come up with? Oh, I bet it's a great sentence. All right, so let's look at worksheet 7.1. All right. Okay, on this 7.1, the directions say, have students underline the pronouns and draw a connecting line from each pronoun to the noun it replaces. Okay, then your next direction is, then have students write the pronoun on the line below it. So let's look at number 1. On number 1, if you notice, they've underlined the pronoun. So you've got to underline your pronoun. They've drawn an arrow to the word the pronoun takes the place for. So Kate is 9. She wrote a book. She is replacing Kate. So that arrow is drawn back to Kate. Okay, so you've got to underline the pronoun, draw an arrow back to the noun it replaces, and then your third step is you're going to write your pronoun on the line. Okay, so you've got 2, 3, 4 to do like that, okay? And then there's something different. So 2, 3, and 4, you're going to do like that. On 1 through 6, you are going to replace the underlined noun with the proper pronouns using he, she, or it. Okay, now notice there are two sentences and the blank line could be at the beginning of a sentence. If it's at the beginning of a sentence, the word should be capitalized on your page. If it's in the middle of the sentence, it doesn't have to be capitalized, all right? Because remember, the first word in a sentence is always capitalized. So you're using she, he, or it on 1 through 6 there. All right, we'll leave that here. Let's go back to our slides. All right, so today we're going to look at a new story, The Picnic by the River. Today's story is about some surprise visitors that show up at Grace's family picnic. So let's preview some spelling. We have the S sound as with a C. We have Grace, Spencer, raced, and center. We have the S sound with a CE like in voice and glanced. We have the S sound with spelled with an SE as in rinsed. We have the T spelled with ED like picked, stuffed, asked, brushed, and slipped. And then we have other two-syllable words like picnic, basket, and river. So let's preview vocabulary. We have the word picnic. Picnic is a meal eaten outdoors. I always like to do a picnic, don't you? The word brushed means to move lightly and quickly. And then we have the word glanced. Glanced means to look quickly. So we're going to read today's story to find out who visits Grace's picnic. And we're going to leave our questions there. We're going to escape and let's go to our story, The Picnic by the River. The Picnic by the River. Last summer, the Spencers had a picnic by the river. They had a picnic basket filled with food. It was stuffed with all sorts of good things: chicken wings, ham, grapes, chips, and cupcakes. Mr. Spencer set the picnic basket down. Grace and Jill went for a swim in the river. Okay, there's Grace and Jill. So it looks like Mom and Dad and Grace and Jill, and there's Pepper. After their swim, the children raced back to the spot where the picnic basket was. When they got there, there were ants marching down the side of their picnic basket. The ants were marching off with some of the food. The Spencers had set their basket down next to the center of a big anthill. Yikes! Shouted Grace in a loud voice. Who asked those ants to this picnic? Mr. Spencer picked up the picnic basket, brushed off the ants. Much of the food was in plastic bags, so it was safe from the ants. Grace and Jill rinsed off the grapes after they brushed off the rest of the ants. And there's Grace and Jill, and look at the ants carrying food off. The Spencers sat down and ate their picnic lunch. This time they sat far from the center of the anthill. After lunch, Mr. Spencer asked, "Should we pack up our stuff and get back to the farm?" "Not yet," said Grace, and glanced back at the anthill. She smiled and slipped some bits of cupcake and ham into her pocket. Then she ran to the anthill. She set the bits of cupcake and ham on the ground next to the anthill. "There," she said, "that will be lunch for the ants. I think ants are cool when they are not crawling on our basket." And there's Grace giving them some food. Okay, so let's go back over here. Let me hide all these floating bars. Okay, so we've got some discussion questions. What did Grace discover when she returned from swimming? She had ants at her picnic basket, didn't she? Yes. Where had the Spencers set down the picnic basket? Next to a big ant hill. Why did Grace set bits of cupcake and ham on the ground next to the ant hill? She wanted them to eat too. She gave them food so they wouldn't be hungry. Number 4, what does this tell you about Grace? What kind of words would you use to describe Grace? I think she's a kind person, don't you? She cares about others, cares about animals, doesn't she? It's like she couldn't hurt anything. So she's a very kind-hearted person. Okay. And then it says, let's look at worksheet 7.2. So if we escape back and look at our worksheets that we have, 7.2 is our take-home reader. It's Mr. Spencer and the Rabbits. So it's 2 pages here, all right? And you just practice reading our story for fluency, all right? Okay, let's get us back. Hide our bars again. And present mode. So our targets today, I can segment and blend 2-syllable words. I can replace a noun with a pronoun, and I can ask and answer questions about key details in the story, The Picnic by the River. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing now. All right, my friends, that is the end of this lesson, and I will see you back here later. Bye, guys.